Preparing. Oh yes, thank you. Got it. So well, I say let's start with the introductory exercises, and hope you will join in. Then when the others, I hope there are others logging in, we go on. Today's topic is going to be branding and self-branding practices. My name is Zita Komar. I work here at Hungary at Corvinus University for the Marketing and Communication Institute. And within this, especially, I work for the Department of Marketing and Design Communication. Sounds interesting, I know, and it is interesting. But today we talk a bit more about marketing, especially branding, because we had the idea when we planned this program for you that you might need some help on how to put together a brand. What are the basics, the foundations of branding? What are those ideas that you might be aware of? And I wanted to give you a short introduction to this topic of branding. I have very colorful slides, and I have also many exercises with me. So I hope that we can put it into practice. But if we don't have time or something happens, I will upload the slides so you can check these later on. So for today's menu, what we can offer for today within branding and self-branding is going to be how to build a brand, what are the basics of brand building, brand loyalty, brand image, brand awareness, and such related topics. And then we will move on with establishing our own brand if you're open to it, and if you're willing, I have a 5-step exercise to help you how to formulate the first sentences, the first ideas, how to structure these, and where to start when you think of your own brand, because we know that none of the businesses, no business exists without a strong brand and brand communication. So that is why it is essential, especially in the 21st century. If you start a business, you have to pay that much attention to branding and brand building and brand communication as well. We live in a world, of course, which is full of marketing. And if we want to be successful, we need to pay attention to that, and we need to learn how to do that. So first of all, I would like to share the screen because I have an introductory exercise, and I'm interested in what would you say. I hope I can share it. So yeah, I think it's okay now. And I would like to, yay. Sorry, I'm not really good with technical stuff. But I want to, yeah. I think it's visible now, but could you please give me feedback whether you can see it or not?
Yes, it's visible.
Working. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So today's topic is going to be branding, and I would like to ask you that, what do you think if it's going to be a creative introductory exercise? Like, what do you think if we can choose one of these potions here on the board? Which would you choose? There is one, you can see the turquoise one. If you drink it, you can travel in time. The orange one says that you have good looks all the time, like really hot looks. Blue can help you swim underwater like a fish. Red one is to be in love forever and ever. The light green is to have, wow, like a million. The purple is for becoming invisible at any time. The green is to be young forever, not to age at all. And the violet is for to become a superstar. So I'm interested that which one would you choose? Can you share it? Can we discuss it? I will go back to the screen. No, I have to share it because you need to see it. But I just simply come here to see your faces. And I will tell my choice, but first of all, I'm interested in yours.
I don't see here another one which I would love to have to have a strong health, because it is to be young, to be beautiful, but actually the most important to be health.
Oh, to have good health. Yeah, I think they should put it there. There is no solution like that to have good health. I like your choice. But maybe, yeah, living forever and being in love can be a combination in this, because if you're in love, your health is always better. Maybe, yes. Um, I don't know. What would the others say? Do you have a preference? Hmm? Not at all.
Hello.
Hello. I'm happy to have you here. And we just simply started with an introduction. You can see it on my screen. I have found an interesting, let's say, game or question on the internet. Like, if we could only choose one potion or one option from the given ones on the board, which one would we choose? And Nadia said that she misses having good health for her entire life, and she would choose that one. And I was interested, like, which one is your favorite one? Which one would you choose? Now we have 5 participants, so I think we will have different ideas and different answers to the same thing.
And could I read these captions and then choose, or should I do it by just watching the picture?
Wow, that's an interesting question. I think you can just check the picture and just, tell us your first thought.
I just liked really light green.
The light green. You want to choose the money.
I'm not sure for now, but it really caught my eye just when I first looked at this picture.
And what would you do with the money? Can I ask?
Yes, I already have some plans. So the first one, I will try to support my family, because I have a great family to help people who now suffer from war, not just volunteering, or not just giving money for our soldiers, as I do it every month, yes, some donations, but also to help people to build houses. Not all the money I will cover, not all the price of the house I'm going to cover, but to give them some possibilities to make some donations for this as a previous step to build and to have a good life. And also a lot of money I require for their education. I have some plans, yes. So it's a good price.
You could spend the money. I think you could spend this money.
Yes.
No problem with that. But I really like that you would like to share it with other people, with your family, maybe with the community. It sounds good.
Yes, but sometimes it irritates other people, because now I'm learning, I'm studying my Polish courses. I just learn languages, different languages, not only Polish, German also. And
Wow.
I'm sharing also my knowledge. I learned some new word, and I would like to share with them with articles, and this irritates people so much. But I think that when I'm going to share with money, it wouldn't be irritating because it's money, not information.
You're right. I think you're right. Well, I'm so happy that the first two people who gave us an answer had really strict plans and ideas for the future. I don't know if there are others who would choose something else from the given options.
Oh, purple become invisible if we have a lot of clients which tell us that they would like to be to remain residents of Ukraine from the tax purpose of view, and really sometimes they ask us to have some no, some universal method technique to be invisible for tax authorities in different countries. So I will recommend them this.
Becoming invisible, I think, is tempting to choose. My preference, while we wait for the others to make decisions, my preference is time traveling. And but the only thing is that I would never ever go to the future. I do not want to see what's going to happen. I would like to go back to the past, like talking to Cleopatra, seeing Da Vinci, Einstein, and some other people. So I would choose time traveling, and I would go through history. But of course, I think these are all good options. So there is no bad choice here. Is there anyone else who's willing to join us sharing the idea? It's not mandatory. I'm just asking that, is there anyone else who would like to share an idea? Well, okay. If not, I think we can go on with our topic for today, which is going to be branding and branding strategy, because this is, as I have told you before, might be important for many of you. And I'm just simply repeating myself because I can see that people are joining and maybe they have missed the first few ideas or the introductory sentences. So today we're going to talk about branding, how to build up a brand, and what are the most relevant ideas. First of all, here are a few questions to you, dedicated to you, and I was hoping that we can have a conversation. So I did not imagine today's course as a very heavy lecture with many, many theories after each other, but I wanted to put in extra space to have discussions, and I have many exercises for you as well. So maybe we can discuss what we think of branding, why, and here you can see the questions like, what is a brand? If we have to define it, what can be a brand? What's not a brand? What are your favorite brands, for example, or self brands? We can talk about self brands as well. Can we make a distinction between brands and love brands? Like the favorite ones, really, really favorite ones of many people. So I would say let's start with this conversation with your ideas. And if anyone who's willing to share a thought, I would be really happy. And then we go on with the conversation.
I could
please, please.
For me, brand, I'm not aware, and I would not go to some, popular definitions. But for me, it's an association or assumption or some connection with a product, service, or something else which is promoted on the market or elsewhere. And due to this association, we get acquainted with such a service and product, and we want to buy, not only to see, to be excited by it, but also to buy. This is what is brand. So some association for me.
Oh, yes, I think it can be one definition. The most academic definitions use the same thing or the same elements that you have mentioned. It's a question to everyone here. Do you have favorite brands or self brands that you follow or you take as as an example, a brand that you look up to? No favorite brands here?
No, I have some, if it's possible to answer the question, if anybody else nobody else is willing. I have some favorite brands, and now we are trying to not to develop my own brand, but I'm working for a company, for a big company, which has a brand, and maybe it's not number one in Ukraine within the Ukrainian market, but it's famous in the world because it's an audit company. As for me, which brands are liked by me? So, for example, H&M, I really like their clothes. It's really very simple, and Zara, yes, very simple, affordable for almost every person.
And
Okay.
yes, I can see. And do you think that their communication is in line with this simplicity? So they communicate the brand this way?
I think yes, but I'm not so deep in these topics, and I don't really monitor their pages, but I like them shops when I visit them. Regarding other brands which I really don't use right at the moment is Dyson, for example. I really want to have some techniques from them, as they are very popular and promoted, well-known among everybody. So maybe also have, of course, some role modes among people, which I'm proud of, and I try to follow in some cases. They are from different fields, yes, and from my professional fields, and well-known. Because a person could also be a brand. And now I see the tendency that most of well-known brands, products, services are based on the person, on some person.
That's right. And
so
in this
firstly,
case,
it appears and tries. It's based on their person's personality and individual. Yes.
Oh, that's right. And I'm really happy that you have mentioned this, because when we see brand communication, sometimes we can see that they simply use promoters or brand ambassadors, famous people or influencers to promote their brand, their idea. But in many cases, the famous person, the ambassador, the influencer, has already have a brand. For example, when George Clooney talks about Nespresso, we can see that there is an Nespresso brand. And next to there is the brand of George Clooney. And these are compatible, of course, because we can see that they have a long-term relationship, working like, I don't know, around 10 or 15 years. And they go well with their communication. But sometimes we can see that brands and self-brands does not match if you do not choose the perfect influencer, for example, or if you just simply choose someone who has different values than your brand. So it's not always working. And please don't think that if a brand is, popular or well known, that it is a love brand. Of course not. A love brand is a very, very special category of brands. The top ones, for example, Coca-Cola, IKEA, for example, Nike, and some other brands or Apple, which are not simply well known or gaining lots and lots of money, but they already touch the hearts of the customers. They already give something, give some extra to the customers, and that is why they can become love brands. And we will touch upon this topic today later on. And I think it's really easy to see that we're living in a branded world. Almost each and every one that we see in the media, or every company has a brand. The difference is how well established the brand is. And that is why we try to help you you establish your own businesses, or startuppers or beginner entrepreneurs, how to think of branding and what to pay attention to when you build up your business, and how to build up your brand as well, even if it's a sell brand, even if it's a simple brand, let's say. So this is what we're going to talk about today. And of course, there are many advices. There are many books, literature, and also podcasts and pages on this topic. So you can find tips or pro tips, not just in the academic literature, but also on the internet. And also, of course, there are business people writing books and giving advices for people on how to establish brands and how to do a good brand communication, let's say. So if we think of the brand, and I would like to just really, really shortly summarize how to start to think of branding, what are the basic ideas, the key concepts, and then we move on to the exercise I would like to go through with you, and I would pop up many questions to you to answer, not here verbally, but you can write it down or you can make notes for yourself, which regards the establishment of your own brand. But first of all, we have to go through on the basics, but it will be brief, I promise. So the brand, I think the most important thing with the brand is that it is something that needs to distinguish itself from the others, from other brands. And this is really hard today because the market is full with brands. And they are, of course, paying attention to brand communication, and they pay a lot for brand communication. So that is why we live in a communication heavy environment, full of messages. And when we talk about brand communication, the top number one thing is to identify who you are, like know who you are, what your brand is. And the second one is to communicate it. And the third one is to distinguish it from other brands and from other brands' communications. So this is something that starts with the inner, like who am I? What is my brand? And goes to the external, like how to communicate it to customers, for example. When we talk about branding, we also know that there are some key components that we have to take into consideration when we build up the brand. So yeah, we know that we have competitors on the market. But when we say that, yeah, you have to distinguish yourself from the competitors, you need to have a strong identity as a brand. We cannot work with this because it's such a huge concept. We have to break it down into smaller pieces and steps to work with it. And some key components in your toolbox will be brand identity. We'll talk about it in a minute. Brand communication, and not just the logos as I have written here and the trademarks, the full process of your brand communication, offline and online as well. We will talk a bit about brand awareness and brand loyalty, absolutely important, and also brand building strategies, which are crucial when we are about to establish a startup, a company, or our own one-person brand. Here are some iconic self-brands, and I think you are familiar with these. I would like to ask you if we can have a little chat here. I don't want to talk that much. I don't want to talk constantly because it's boring. So I would like to ask you that, what do you think, which of these brands are successful? So what are those brands that you think can communicate well, clearly, and in an understandable way their message and their core values? These are all self-brands, especially Angelina and Brad Pitt, who work up since they have formed a brand together, but now they have different self-brands. It was interesting to see how these merged together for 10 years when they were in marriage. And they have created the Brangelina brand together, and now they split. Now they have two different brands again, just as before their marriage. So what do you think? Which of these brands communicates themselves in a good way, let's say?
Okay.
Nadja, please.
Yeah, I think the Marilyn Monroe is the well-known brand from the old generation to the young generation, and this is brand of beauty. This is brand of very successful actress, and I would say it's a brand of unhappy life.
Yes. Also, she's iconic.
Also, she's
even
iconic,
after her death.
yes.
Yes, but it's a sad story at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But still, she is so famous that people are, wearing the same clothes she does. I think Kim Kardashian was the one who wore one of Marilyn Monroe's famous dresses for the Met Gala. I think, or they're, using her looks or these iconic images they recreate over time, to use this brand. So yeah, I think it was a well-established brand, but I'm not sure whether she was aware of this or it was a natural process back in the days.
I'm sure that it was a huge team which works on that brand. It's not only her by herself, but all these producers and I don't know
Yes.
who else, but it was a big team
Yeah,
working
there is
on
always
it.
a team today.
Mhm.
That's right. And this will be one of the challenges for you who are here today because generally you do not have a team. You have a
Yeah.
brand on your own. It's a one-person show, a one-man show, let's say, a one-woman show. So in this case, it's harder to do all the tasks on your own and not just pay attention to the business and to the everyday duties, but also to brand building and brand communication as well. It's not easy. It's much easier if you have like 10 people working on the same thing. Somebody wrote Angelina Jolie has a good brand. Can we ask why do you vote for her?
It was me.
Yes.
Maybe I'm not aware of all the directions of her activity and behavior. I'm not aware, but she is associated with a brave woman in film as a film star, and also she helps refugees, and she is responsible for some support for nature and resources. So that's why I talked about her. I
Yeah,
wrote about.
she is goodwill ambassador.
Yes, and ambassador of the UNO.
Yes, also.
And I see that all the stars, when they reach this top, they start doing some good things, some support. Yes, they support for children, for nature, and other things. So they would like to be valuable for the society, not only to be a film star and earn a lot of money.
I think maybe that is why that their divorce with Brad Pitt could not make a big harm to her image.
Yes.
Of course, it did make harm, but not that big because she has already established herself as a goodwill ambassador and so on. If you remember the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard divorce, that was a total catastrophe.
Yes.
And it damaged both brands. So both of them came out of this trial as a loser when we think of the brands and the recognition of their name. So I think from now on, everybody, when they say that Johnny Depp or Amber Heard, everybody will remember this divorce, this very, very, well, I have no words for that, but let's say chaotic divorce in front of the media. So in that case, the divorce did make damage to both of the self brands. But in the case of Angelina and Brad Pitt, it wasn't that big. We can say that there were no big harm. What do you, everybody here, what do you think of the brand communication of the British royal family? It's not one person, it's a family. Of course, a business, a royal business.
May I say?
Yes, please. I'm so
Hi.
happy when somebody joins in. Please.
Yes, I am really into the royal family, but I think more as an icon. But I think the brand is not so prominent because they are not really self-made people to some extent. I mean, to some extent, of course, they are, but it makes it a problem that they were born into this royalty and they have the money that they can use for good, yes, but still, compared to let's say Beyonce, who is a badass self-made woman empowering other women, or I don't know, Angelina Jolie, or maybe even Greta, who has some very valuable message that she's letting the world know of all the issues. So I think it's the branding is not so good, because too many people are still against the royal family.
Even in
It's my
England.
yes.
Yeah,
yes.
we know. Yeah, you're totally right. I think that is why it was interesting to see, this breakup with Harry and Meghan Markle and the other part of the family, because Meghan Markle was a different person, arrived from out of a sudden, an American actress, divorced, and I think it's interesting to see how they tried to implement her into the family, but it didn't go well.
Yes, failed a bit.
Failed a bit. But I have an idea that maybe it was designed this way. So maybe they designed the breakup and everything else to provide a person to the for the public who is not a royal by birth, but somebody who became a partner of a royal person. So I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that it was just a planned kind of a communication, but maybe it's true, and they really hate each other. We don't know. And also, you can see some fictional brands here as well, like Superman or Super Mario. They are not real living people, but they all have self brands. So these fictional characters can become well-known, iconic, or famous self-brands as well. I have collected, or I have made this little collage this way to show you that there are different ways of creating brands. There are different core values within the heart of these brands. There are different ways that they're communicating themselves. And I think this is something that is a good start for us to think of branding. So that is why I wanted to show this image. If we go on, there are some brand-related commercials. I would recommend you to check it if you're interested. There are, I think, some advertisements here, and also there is a contra advertisement, let's say. I think in 10 years or 10 years ago, a guitarist used United Airlines to fly to, I don't know, from somewhere in America, and they broke his guitar, and they cannot handle the problem very well. So the singer made a song on how United Airlines break his guitar, and it was like watched by millions of people, and it made harm to the United brand and the brand communication. So today it is really easy to ruin a brand. Just you can simply upload a video on YouTube and that's it. So if you're interested, you can check these. There are some advertisements as well. But when we talk about the brand, at the first place, I would like to show you the idea of brand identity, which is really in the core of your brand. So now please think of your own startup, your own enterprises, or the company you would like to start, or just a one-man brand you would like to start, and think of the brand identity. It is something that depends on the understanding of the business environment as a whole, and your customers and competitors, who are, of course, players in this game in the business environment. And brand identity always depends and reflects the business strategy, the brand strategy you have. So first of all, when you think of your own brand, you should not start with the logo. You should not start with the marketing communication plans or the channels that you will use or the social media posts that you're going to create. But first of all, think of the brand identity as if it was your own identity as a person, because you can see it here, it depends on the deep insight who you are and who your customers will be. Your customers' needs, beliefs, behaviors, lifestyle attributes, and the competitors also in the market, because you need to distinguish your brand, the identity of your brand from others. So it all starts with the identity, and then can build up all the other brand related stuff on brand identity. So what else do we need to have after we have established after we have a strong understanding of our brand identity? We can think of the brand image, but only after the brand identity, because the basic difference between the two is that the brand identity reflects your own perception of your brand. So it answers the question, who am I as a brand? What is my purpose? What are my core values? What do I offer my customers? Why am I better than the others, the competitors on the market? So this is the brand identity. And the brand image, it starts with an I as well, but that's different. So brand identity is not equal to brand image. The brand image is how you tell it to other people. So the brand identity comes from the inner, from an intrinsic point of view, and the brand image uses an extrinsic communication. So how you communicate your brand, how you present your brand to the people, to your future customers. That's the difference between the two. So first establish and know your own brand identity, and then you can build up the brand image. There are 3 other related ideas to this topic. But before that, I would like to give you a short insight to brand image. So after you have the identity, now we talk about brand image. Kotler was the one, of course, who defined it. He's the most famous person in marketing, a superstar, let's say. And he was the one who put everything together, what to know about marketing and even in branding. And he says that the brand image is the sum total of all the experiences that the customers have with your brand. But please pay attention that it can change with time, because the external factors can influence it. For example, if there's a new trend, or for example, the COVID, and the COVID hit, it affected, of course, brand image and brand communication, and made challenges to the well-known ways of communicating and building marketing strategies and branding strategies. But also the image can help you stand out from the crowd, distinguish yourself from the others. And I think what is most interesting here is here on the slide at the bottom, which is a quote from Scott Cook. And he said that the brand is no longer what we tell the customer it is. It's not what we tell him or her, but it is what the customer tell each other it is. And that's the challenge today in the 21st century for brands, because there are multiple ways of communicating your brand, and you're not going to be the only one who communicates your brand. But of course, the customers will share their experiences, whether they are good, whether they are bad, with other customers. This is what we call word of mouth, which means that people are sharing experiences, giving advices, or just simply chatting with each other, generally online, but there is an offline version. The offline version is what we've been doing like for centuries. When you tell your neighbor or your friend that, oh, I've been on the market, there is a new, seller there with the apples, and it was real good. This is what have happened for, centuries long. And now we have an online version of it on the online platforms. So this is what we call word of mouth or electronic word of mouth. So people share their experiences, and here's one statistic which is important for us, that when they have, and it's a general thing, when they have good experiences with a brand, they share it with around 3 people. They tell them that, oh, it was so good. I like this mobile phone. I like this restaurant. I like this, beauty cream. So they generally share it with 3 other people. But when they have bad experiences with a brand, generally they tend to share it with 7 other people. And that's real bad news for brands, because it means that people are more likely to share bad news, bad experiences, which is, of course, a harm, a damage to your brand, because people, of course, find it more authentic, more credible when somebody else tells them something instead of watching commercials and advertisements from the brand itself. So that is why you need to be really, really careful, not just with establishing the brand, but also communicating the brand and treating clients, your customers. This is something that you constantly pay attention to, and it has to be on 100% all the time. So some brand image examples I have put here, a good and a bad example on the same topic. So for example, if you go to a new Italian restaurant and you think you enjoyed the meal, and you say that, okay, it is pricey, but it's worth it because the atmosphere is so good, the food is of quality Italian food, and you will share it with people, and you will, of course, support the brand image of the new restaurant, because you have tried it and then you have tell it to other people. But on the other hand, if you went to the same restaurant and the food was not authentic at all, and you experienced a very poor service which you paid a lot for, of course you will share it again, but you will make a harm to the brand image that will prevent other people from eating there. So this is how. So this is why it is important how you treat the customers and how you communicate. There are different types of brand images, because now we're talking about the image, what you communicate to people. For example, here you can see the first one is the functional image. It's generally, and please think of your own businesses right now. So if you create a functional type of an image, it will generally focus on practical benefits of your brand, like reliability or quality or durability. So this is the main message in this case. That is why we call it a functional image. In the contrary, there is something that we call emotional image, when you do not focus on reliability or durability, but you focus on the happiness that your service or product provides to people. For example, if a person uses my handmade facial cream, she will look 10 years younger. That's not a functional image. That's more likely of an emotional image, because I bring happiness, I bring joy, I bring out a preferred idea of women would like to look. So that is why it's different. The personal image is when you put emphasis on the style and the uniqueness, that it's really unique. There is nothing else with resemblance to this. Or there is the social image, when you pay attention to luxury, to the exclusivity, like not anyone can afford it. It's something for a special bunch of people. Or the user image, when you use the celebrities to advertise your message. And symbolic image is the sixth one, which represents generally adventure, freedom, success, something which is, something that you cannot touch, and something that you can feel, but it's more than an emotion. It's more than a feeling. So when you feel freedom, it is not just simply feeling luxury, or the feel of luxury, or the feel of happiness, but it's more than that. So there are different types of brand image, and if you want to be consistent with your brand communication, you need to know like which one or which of these you're depending on when you're building up your brand. And there are 2 other factors I would like to bring to your attention before we go to the exercise. Brand awareness, which means the customer's ability to recall, to memorize your brand, or to recognize your brand. And of course, each and every brand aims for the so-called top of mind brand awareness, which means that when I ask people to tell us what are your favorite bands, or which is the first brand that pops into your mind when I say beauty industry, this is what we call top of mind, because we did not give examples, we did not give any aid, or any we did not, put a list together to choose from, but we simply let customers tell us what pops into their minds. This is what we call top of mind brand awareness. Everybody wants that. Everybody aims for that. But of course, it's very limited who can reach it. So there are some other types, like the unaided brand awareness, when the customer can elicit from memory when he or she met the product or the product category, which is more spontaneous. And there is the aided awareness, when we, for example, give a list to them, or we give some help to them, or show the logos to them, and then we ask, like, which are your favorite ones. That's aided awareness. And there's the strategic awareness, which is not only the top of mind, so when the customer can recall it by his or herself, but it's the strategic awareness is when the customer can add an extra to this. So it's the top of mind, and also he or she can tell us distinctive qualities of these brands. So the customer might think that it is better than all the other brands. So not just simply recalls it, memorizes it, or recognizes the brand, but can tell the distinctive qualities of the brand. That's the wow, super cool factor. So this is what we call brand awareness. And also there is something that we call brand loyalty, which is a perception-based a thing. Well, of course, we want brand loyal customers. When you establish your brands, when you establish your businesses, you will like to have people who are coming back to you, of course. So nobody wants a 1 point, a 1 minute touch point, but would like to have loyal customers who are coming back again. But how to create it? Of course, that's always the question. How to make sure the customer will stay with us and will come back. In this case, I generally advise on the trainings to company people, and also to my students at the university, to think of your own selves. Like, why do you buy clothes, shampoo, laptop, I don't know what, from a specific brand? Why do not change it to another brand? Because there are brands in our lives that we stick to. And the question is that, why do we do that? And if we think of the way you purchase things, the way you are connected to brands, it will help you understand how other people might perceive your own brand and how they are behaving when purchasing. There are some strategies that can help you. The top number one is, of course, good quality. Cannot sell a service or a product without the very best of quality. Also, if you have more people working with you, if you have a team, customer service is important, and it is more important if you are the only one who's working in this business and you're providing the service your own. So you have to reply to each and every letter or email. You have to take each and every phone call and be polite, of course, and supportive with your customers. If you can, it is a good idea to have brand ambassadors. Talked about the word of mouth, and also the ambassadors when we talked about Angelina Jolie, and the George Clooney example was the same. Also, if you can, and if you already have a business and you are just simply trying to make it grow, you can think of loyalty programs. That's the most direct way to attract customers, and which is something which is open for everybody, is the online community. Online or offline, but basically, or generally, it's online community, because this is something that you don't need money for. Of course, it's time consuming, so it needs a lot of time and effort to build up and to maintain an online community. But you can always think of that, and it's generally a really good way to promote yourself, to communicate your brand, and to establish brand loyalty as well. So I would say that online communities, or communities simply, are essential for brands. especially for new brands who are just entering the market. So we need to focus on from the very beginning, from the zero moment, on building a community around our brand. It's not going to work without that. You have to survive the first year with your brand. So it is essential for you from the very beginning to have supporters, people who are spreading the idea, who are sharing the idea, and also who can become ambassadors, who are attracting other people to come. And also, here's an example on how to do that. There are some love brands here, Apple, Coca-Cola, Nike. They are well-known brands. And I have put a few words here that what makes them become powerful brands. For example, in the case of Apple, it's not just the design, but also the customer service that gives an extra to people. In the case of Coca-Cola, they can, really create a community by using the messages of the good old days, or putting emphasis on enjoying life, bringing people together, and so on. Taste the feeling, their slogan. So this is something that they do on a high level, and it's no problem if they launch a new product and it's not successful, because customers keep on buying Coca-Cola. But of course, it's easy because it's a well-established, more than 100 years old brand, so it's no problem for them. I don't know why are they even advertising, because there is no need for advertising Coca-Cola. Everybody knows it. And the last example is Nike, and their drive for building brand loyalty was to promote exclusivity, to build a community, like providing free workout classes or training support. They a few years ago personalized the brand, and now they have personalized product recommendations, and they use the omni-channel marketing communication strategy, which means that they not just simply have an in-store and on-site communication, but also they have a mobile app and so on. So each and every channel they are using, that is why we use it omni-channel experience, and they're using it in a good way. So these are just examples for you to think of. And lastly, before we go to work on your own brands, some ideas and tips for you on how to boost your brand image. First of all, I started with this to have a strong brand identity. That's the inner part, and brand image is the external part, the outside. So first of all, have a strong brand identity of who you are. Then you need to create a professional website, or if not a website, strong social media presence. So you need to be everywhere at the same time, and you need to choose carefully those channels, those platforms that are supporting you. So I would say that you need to be everywhere, but maybe not everywhere. So it can happen that you have a brand that does not need, for example, a TikTok channel, because that does not fit to your brand. It can happen, but you will have some other social media to use in branding. And the website is a good idea if it's if it supports your brand, and if it fits your brand. You need to have a strong marketing strategy, like understanding what am I doing, how am I going to do it, what will I like to reach in the first year, in the second year, in the first 5 year, and so on. So marketing strategies, and not just the targets, but also the channels, the media planning, the budget, the time budget, and so on. So you need to know everything related to these marketing strategies, and put these in an integrated type of marketing communication. We call it integrated marketing communication. You need to get feedback from the customers, like constantly, and also improving your brand offline is a good idea nowadays, because everybody is full with online communication, and it now becomes a basic thing to have online channels, to use online channels in marketing communication. But if you enter, for example, some real life events or fundraising activities, or you meet personally with the customers, it can really help to personalize and to humanize your brand and create real life connections with people. So these are some tips that are really, basic, essential when branding. Here are 2 case studies. You can check these at home. I just wanted to show you that, for example, Airbnb, it was a good idea to reimagine their brand image, and they also changed the logo and the communication itself, because they depended on the experiences of the customers and the passion for traveling. So they needed to strengthen the brand identity, and that is why they have changed communication. And the other successful case study example here is the Tiffany. We know Tiffany luxury, of course, jewelry. I think not everybody can afford it, and they wanted to quit this really classical and classy image. So they started to open for the newer generations, for the youngsters, and they launched this campaign in 2018, Believe in Dreams. It was called Believe in Dreams, to reach out to the millennials. You can check the commercial. I have provided the link. And they started to expand their brand image by, involving new people, having new design and new ways of getting in touch with the customers. So I think it's another interesting example. And what else you need to think of is the value proposition, which is the business or the marketing statement, summarizes why a customer should choose you. This is why we call it value proposition. So there's in the first circle, what you're offering. In the second, what the market can offer. And in the third one, what the customer needs. And within the mix of these 3, you can see the so-called value proposition, which is one clear statement that summarizes who you are, what do you do, and convinces your potential customers to choose you. So this is a statement to target customers. It should be in line, of course, with each and every other part of your brand and marketing communication. So the value proposition is something that needs to be really clear, first of all. So these are the requirements we pay attention to. Needs to be clear and easily understand. Needs to depend on the concrete results that the customer will get when choosing you, buying your product or your service. It needs to show how different you are or better you are than the others on the market. And it needs to be understood in 5 seconds. So this is something that we pay attention to when putting together the value proposition. And of course, try to avoid the hypes, the superlatives, and the business jargon that everybody uses or many of the brand uses, because these will not have an effect on the customers, because we're fed up with these messages. So, and also here's another help for you to use when you think of your value proposition. It tells basically the same we discussed. And also there are some other characteristics if you like to test how good your value proposition is. For example, that you can test whether if it's difficult to copy it or not, whether it is embedded in a great business model or not, or for example, whether it focuses on unresolved pains or needs, and so on. So there are some other characteristics that you can bring your attention to when building the value proposition. And the value proposition can have 2 other parts, or not 2 parts, but 2 related phenomena. The value prop is generally depend on the unique selling proposition, which makes it clear that why are you different or better than the others. This is what we talked about. And also here you can see an emotional selling proposition, which is something beneath the service, something that depends on awakening emotions and feelings in the customer. So you're not, talking about how cheap you are. You're not talking about how durable your product are, but you're talking about what kind of benefits will it bring to the life of the people. For example, it brings happiness, or it helps you relax, and things like that. So that's the emotional selling proposition. And contrary to this, the reason to believe is the short, concise statement that serves as a well, a trigger point to the customers. So when you say that it's cheap, it's easy to get, it has 2 more features than the other competitor's product, and so on. So here you can see that there is the unique selling proposition. Why are you different than the others? There is the emotional selling proposition, like what emotions can you bring, and the reason to believe, like rationally, what are the characteristics of your brand, product or service that are important. You don't have to have all of them. The USP is essential, but you can decide whether you're focusing on the ESP next to this or the RTB next to this in your marketing communication. And this is it. This is what I wanted to discuss with you theoretically as the basics of branding. And now I would like to give you an exercise. We won't have time, I think, to go through on all the 5 steps, but that's no problem because I will upload it. So later you can use the slides, you can use this exercise to think of your own brand when you establish your business, or if you already have a business, you can think of your brand image, your brand awareness, your loyal customers, and so on. So I'm sharing the screen still, but now we're not going to discuss the questions here verbally at the first moment, because you will need time to think of these. So I thought that we will start with the first step, and hopefully we will have time for the second, maybe the third, don't know, because we have to finish around 7 o'clock. But I would like to go through on the first step, because that's the most interesting and most important part for us. So I will show you the questions. I will leave it here, and then I will turn my sound off, but I will be here, of course, and I will ask you to write it down in a document, on paper, use your computer, it's no problem, and to try to answer these questions and think of these focusing on your own brand. And after that, we're going to discuss it together, and I hope you will join in the discussion and we can really discuss it. So the first part of the exercise, the first exercise, focuses on how to build up brand. So it will help you. The aim of the exercise is to help you clear up your brand identity, your brand image. This is what we talked about. To discover the purpose of your business, to discover your mission, the mission of the business, and to help you move forward to the right marketing and branding strategy. So this is the focus of this first exercise. And here, see the questions. And I would like to ask you to think of these questions and answer these questions for yourself, and think of your own brand, your own business. And here are some questions that will help you make the first steps with branding. So first question is, who are you? Can you define your brand in 1 or 2 sentences? Why does your company exist? What's the purpose? What problem do you solve? And we think of customers or future customer, potential customers' problems. How does your solution, your brand, stand out from other brands, stand out from the crowd? What are you committed to? Do you have core values that you're committed to? Is there a niche? Do you want to operate a very small, tiny part of the market? Can people count on you, and if, why? Why should people care about your company, your brand, your business? These are the most essential questions when you establish brand identity, the first steps. And if you have answered these, I also would like to ask you to make a list of the words that define what your company or brand is not. So the questions regard who you are, takes into account who you are. And then there is another part of the exercise which says that who you're not. So what your company is not. You can create a pair of words that are contradictory. For example, you can state that you want to sound fun to the customers, but not childish. So this is an example to show you how to think of the contradiction. And now we're working together, of course, but if you're stuck with this, after the class, you can always reach out to your friends and family members or stakeholders to help you answer these questions if you think you cannot or you're unsure of some of your answers. So I will give you 10 minutes, let's say, to think of these questions. It's no problem if you cannot answer all of them, but try, at least try to deal with these. And after 10 minutes, we will come back and discuss your answers. I will be here. I will turn the sound and the camera off, but I will be here. So if you have questions, just simply tell me and then I will answer them immediately. So welcome back again. I know it was a short time, and 10 minutes is, of course, not enough to deeply dive into these questions, but maybe it was enough to have a glimpse of what we think of when we talk about brand building and brand identity. So I would be really happy and I would encourage you to please share some of your answers with the class here because we're here to support each other. We're here to learn from each other. Maybe we're interested, I am, in each other's ideas and opinion. So if I can invite you for a last discussion at the end of the class to share a few of your ideas, or if it was hard or not easy for you to answer these questions, I would like to ask why was it hard? What was the problem? Maybe I can help, or maybe I can provide you more materials or exercises that can help you go through on these problematic parts or challenges. So is there anyone who's willing to share some of her thoughts? Was it difficult to work with this exercise? Nadia, please.
Yeah.
Yes, I know you are still thinking about the brand, so you do not have an already established brand. I know.
I had a
Oh, we cannot hear you. I think you're muted.
No,
I
is
could
it
hear
okay?
you well. Nadia, yes?
Yes, yeah. Can you
Yes,
hear
yes,
me?
yes. I
Yeah.
could hear you.
Mm-hmm. I had a
I
kind
don't know
of
what's the
problem
problem. It was okay.
with
Uh,
a question. What are you committed to? What is this about?
maybe it's just my part, but I cannot hear you.
But could you hear me,
Yeah,
Zita?
yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Our lecturer
So I cannot
could not
hear.
hear us. Yes, could not hear. So we should let her know in our chat. So, yeah.
Okay, it's working. It was on my part. Sorry, I'm so
So
sorry
now
for
you
that.
hear us, yes?
Yeah, I'm here now. I can hear everybody. Thank you.
Nadezhda is talking, okay?
Sorry, I don't know what happened. You know, the little thingy was not in the right place. Sorry for
Okay.
that.
So the question is, what are you committed to? What is
Yes.
this about? It's really hard to answer this question because I don't know what to think about.
For example, brands generally think of if they are committed to provide products with very low pressure on the environment. So sustainability can be something that you're committed to, or you can be committed to supporting families because you're a family-friendly startup, or you can be committed to protect something, for example, to stand for an idea, an ideology, or something that is important for you that's in the core values of you and your business. These were just a few examples, but I think it helps us, you know, get close. For example, Body Shop's core value is that they do not use animal testing when they prepare cosmetics. That can be something that you stand out for. Or if you only use, I don't know, coconut hair to produce bags because you're really protecting the environment. That's something that you stand out for. Or, for example, you employ people from the elderly, from above 60 or 70, because you're committed to the idea that retired people are an important part of the society and you want to provide workplace for them and such things. Does it help you get closer to your idea?
Still, it needs to be think about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard.
Thinking.
That's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
But it's going to be in the middle of your brand.
Mhm. So maybe other girls.
Yeah, maybe some other ideas, or if there were problematic things, that's okay as well. Do you all have an established brand or a business that you're already working on? If not, that's not a problem. I'm just simply asking because if you already have a business, you start from a different point than those who are about to establish the business.
Yeah, me not. But
Yeah.
others, I'd like to hear maybe other girls.
Yeah, I can see Tatiana.
Yes,
Hello.
hi everyone. Now I'm located in Czech Republic, and I am from Ukraine, from Kharkiv, where I had fashion atelier. I produced clothes for order. So I don't have any ready position, but I made with my assistants clothes for order. So in Czech Republic, I try to do the same thing. Now I'm on stage of developing my brand. brand.
Yeah. Of
Here,
course, your brand.
yes. And the main my main activity is как это будет по-английски? Developing my Instagram.
Oh yeah, social media channels.
Yes, social media. I make some advertisement, and of course I did a little plan, small plan. So my niche, it's people with unstandard shapes.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm with unstandard shapes, so that's pretty much needed.
Yes. And now I have some clients from Prague, and my previous clients which works with me in Berlin, I'm sorry, in Ukraine. Now she's in Berlin, and she come to me with her problem, and I can help to solve it, because she is very petite woman, and she can't wear standard clothes. So my main value, I think it's high quality, because I'm where I pay a lot of attention to details and to the quality. And my main goal, it's создать
Create
create community of people who evaluate quality clothes and maybe some artist self-presentation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Collaborations with artists.
Yes.
I think you
Wonderful idea.
already, yeah, wonderful. You already done many of the steps that we discussed today. So you have a clear core value, and it's maybe not just high quality, but the core value is that you create clothes for people with different shapes than the average.
Yeah.
That is a core value. And there's a niche market, not a niche market, I think a very big market of people who would like to buy these clothes. So you already know the core value, you already have the social media channels, you already know that you need to build a community which will spread the idea. So now I think you've made many of the steps with your business. That's so good to hear.
Yeah. But of course, I want to some financial to develop my brand because advertisement and social media, it's take a lot of money.
Oh, yes, but also it's more cheaper than other types of advertisements.
Of course.
So yeah, there are more money to spend, let's say. But I think the social media is a good way to reach out to different target groups, to
Yes.
different people, and also you can there are media that you pay for, and there is the so-called owned media that you have. And using your own platforms does not require more money because that's your platform. Of course, you pay a small amount of money, for example, for Facebook or for Instagram, but that's something affordable. And you can, of course, think of in paid media, but that's very expensive, so I would not recommend. But the third type of media, the earned, sorry, your own, the ones you pay for, and the last one is the earned, what you got from people, and that is what we call word of mouth or people recommendation and things like that. So in your case, I would focus on building up the community to get
Yes.
more earned media, which you do not have to pay for, but that can really, really expand your brand in the Czech Republic.
Yes, but my main problem is Czech language and building social context with local people.
Yeah.
So
Are there any art fairs or those kind of events that you can enter? I mean, personally, because that's always good to personally build a brand, to have offline events where I would recommend to do that.
Of course, thank you.
I think it's a good idea. And of course, if you use the social channels in a purposeful way, so posting regularly, like one post every 2 days or things like that, that can help. That can help. And I would say that you said you started that you're creating clothes for the elderly, but the not when we say that, not the classical shape, which is unclassical, that's not just the elderly, but you can open up for more target groups.
I try I try to target not only unstandard people, but for wide audience, because some women like to look not regular.
Yeah, differently.
Differently, yes.
No, I understand. Well, I think in your case, it would be beneficial to check I will upload the slides, and this was just the first step that we thought of, and there are 4 other steps. So for you, I think it's more important to check the other steps because you have already started the business, so you've done these. Maybe it's good to have a revision on what you've done, but you can go on. I can show you the other questions before we finish today's class. And yeah, I have shared the screen. So this was the first part, but then there's the second, which here you can see focuses on how to get personal, how to personalize the brand, which is of course important in your case, especially because people who are wearing your clothes want to stand out from the crowd and are more focused on this personalized look. So here are some questions that can help you think of what to do. Also, the third exercise is about becoming transformative. So how to, transform values and products into a multi-step process. Here are some exercises for that. And the fourth one is to determine the position, like what is your position in the market and of course in the broader sense. So there are some questions for this. And the last one, the fifth step, is that creating a motivational manifesto, like who we are or what we believe in. So compiling a list of the things that you believe in. And I think it can help not just you, but everyone here to go on these steps. Of course, it takes time. And in some cases, if you do not have a business already, it is just a starting point to think of what are the tasks and the to-dos that are about to come when you have the business. But I hope you will find it useful. So Tatiana, I'm so happy. Thank you for sharing the feedback. I want to buy your clothes, first of all. I want to have these really, really personalized clothes. And also I'm happy that you have already managed to go on with this business. I would be happy to discuss it with you in the fall because I think we will provide you some personal consultations within this program in the fall. So I would be happy to consult with you. How's it going?
Where I can text you?
Oh yeah, of course. You can check my email address at the end of the slideshow. I have put my address there. So, but I think at this point, it's not needed because we will spend months until we have the consultation. So it will be in September, October, somewhere over there. So you can text me anytime. It's no problem. I would be happy. But maybe you need more time to go on with the program. But I'm always open to your emails. So I would be happy if you want to reach out to me. Is there anyone else who has a question or would like to share some ideas or closing remarks?
I could share in few words.
Yeah, of course, please.
Right at the moment, I don't have any businesses, but I'm some kind of a counsel. So I have my unit, department team with which we are elaborating, we are developing different products in international taxation. So that company I work for, they have already, and I also have, because I'm as a part, their own brand and everything associated with them. So, but I'm also thinking of my own business. That's why I'm in this program. I entered this program. I have really several ideas, but right at the moment, I don't know my superpower to be sure that the project I start, it will have not even success, but it will go on. So because I have some interests, and for example, one of them, it's business English. So for a long time, I'm in a business, and I know how to write some letters to have an effect, to have an effect to your partners, how to communicate with them, and how to teach people to, reach their goals during this communication. And moreover, I'm a bit mediator, so I try to help people to resolve their conflict, to solve their conflicts. So, and I just wanted to put it in some course or some platform which could help people, especially nowadays when our people flee to different European countries, and they, just need to know the language to communicate with others. So not only local languages help us to do this. So it's some kind of a business project, but I don't know where is the starting point of forming their brand. So just from the very creation, from the very beginning, yes, just to answer that questions, and then to think of some messages that I should address to people to make them buy my product, or how to do this. I don't know right now.
That's normal. Don't be afraid, because you already started to think of now you already know what you want to do, what kind of expertise do you have, what kind of past experiences make you become good in this business. So I think you already started. So now you have the basic ideas. You just need to put it into context. And again, I would recommend you to follow the steps that maybe Nora was providing you when she was talking about the financial and the business context. And my other colleague Tamás, I think he was talking about business communication related
yes,
tips and
I think
practices
that
as well.
yes, we passed this this lecture already. Yes.
So I think there is no problem in your case, because you're just simply at the point when you're about to start a new business. And of course you have unsure
it's
things.
really difficult to think of something that will distinguish your business, because if you go to their Instagram or different social media, you see a lot of experts. Yes, they differ. Their contents are not always so fantastic, amazing, and
that's the hardest part. So pay attention
yes.
to that, and use your time. It's not something that you will discover in 10 minutes or in one day or in 1 week. So I think you will spend weeks and months or you already started to think of what differentiates you from the others. Maybe it's the language that you're providing your service on. Maybe it's the content. Maybe there are some special features that you add as an extra. Maybe your personality will bring a difference, an extra to this. You don't have to, find the holy grail. You just need to be clear of your own values and communicate them. And I think you're already in a good way.
Thank
but
you.
Yes, but yeah, it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to lie. It's not easy to find what makes you different on the market. That's true. It's not easy. But I would say focus on the things that interest you in this business, because that will be one part of the brand identity. That why do you do things? What are you committed to? So what do you want to bring to this market? What is the thing that is missing from others, or missing from many of your competitors? Maybe some of them are doing it, but not everybody, just a few. So what is in your interest, what you can do? What is that is a specification of the market? So you can make researches, and I recommend everybody before establishing a brand, a business, to make researches, like what customers need, what kind of experiences they're shared with each other. We talked about word of mouth. What is that they're talking about, they bring up in online communities when they talk about this topic. So this is the market research. And the third one is checking the competitors, which you already did. So I think you're in a good way, because one out of the three essential parts establishing this business or doing the first steps is okay. Now you need to, make the market research, check the market, and become really, really clear with your own values and commitment. And that will bring out the differentiator.
Thank you, got it. And I think that there is no time to share with 2 more ideas. That's why it's all from my side.
That's okay, and no problem, because we can have, these personal consultations in the fall, in October, so we can go back to this topic.
Even if I'm in Polish group, because I'm not
in the Polish group, you will have the consultations as well, as far as I know.
But
in
not
all
with
of
you.
Not with me, but with the Polish teachers. So I don't think there is a difference. So we are generally talking about the same topics in each and every country. So they will provide you personal help, because it's in the program that now we do these trainings, let's say, these lectures. And then in the autumn, in the fall, we will have the consultations. Please, Oleksandr, tell us what you know about this.
Dear Zita, thank you very much for your lecture.
Yeah, I have to stop. Okay, sorry, I have to stop.
No. I wish you don't stop this lecture.
I understand, and sorry for overrunning. Thank you
It's
for
okay.
your
No.
time.
We're talking. The matter is, if somebody is staying in other group, that's okay. We will give all the experience. We will give all videos with lectures for each country, but you have absolutely, you can look for other countries experience, and you can try to not only to provide your business in the country of the residence. Our aim, we would like to make cross-country experience, and maybe you will try to open your business not only in Poland or only in Czechia, only in Slovakia. We are looking for cross-cultural business.
Yes, that's right. But I think for today, it's enough, because now I think everybody's so tired, and I was really overrunning with time, and I'm so sorry for that. And thank you for your attention. I will upload the slides with all the exercises, and there are extra material on marketing if you need more. And we will